I have two friends of mine that are married that are my accountability partners. They'll tell me like, hey, this is where you were wrong, this is where you were correct, this is how you should approach it when you speak to your wife, and you speak with love. So I have to get my mind right, because if I don't get my mind right, I'm liable to have diarrhea of the mouth. And we've reached that point where we've invested into having someone that helps us with our communication, because we communicate, men and women communicate differently, right?
Welcome to another episode of the Love Conquers podcast, where I interview dope couples who will be dropping gems on areas of their relationship that you may be struggling with. And this episode is no different. I got another dope couple on the podcast. But before I introduce this dope couple, please listen, subscribe to the podcast. I need y'all's support. Y'all want to keep seeing this podcast grow, and I keep bringing more dope couples on. Subscribe, so show your boy some love. And then let's get right into it. So let's introduce the Dixons. How y'all feeling today?
What's up, Brother Williams? We are wonderful.
Yes. Look, listen. Before we get into the gems, before we get into all this knowledge y'all about to drop, first I just want to say I appreciate y'all on the air. Like, just thank you for allowing me to be in y'all space to interview y'all.
No, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
And then I want y'all to just do me a favor. Let's tell the audience something about you guys. Like, how long you been married?
We've been married for 3 years. We've been together for 4 years.
Okay, nice. And any kids?
Yes, we have 2 children.
Nice.
My 7-year-old daughter and our 11-month-old son, Dash and Zeta, the apples of my eye. Well, aside from my wife, of course.
Of course. And then you said y'all the real life.
Real life Martin and Gina. Like, like you can see it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, this how y'all know this is a real couple, man. Kids, married,
Yeah.
Careers.
Yeah.
Just, living life and going through the process together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So let's get into it. So, I always ask all my couples. I'm ready for this question.
Come on, somebody.
I don't know. So,
Come on,
what
somebody.
makes y'all relationship dope?
Ladies first.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, they want different answers.
So,
Let's see.
what makes our relationship dope? I'm going to say first, our foundation is God, of course. So, praying together. He mostly leads. I know I need to do better with that, but he definitely leads our family in prayer, which is great. I think that's something dope in a relationship. Is very vital. Keeping the fun in our relationship. We do date nights frequently.
And we love to eat.
So you got multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can keep going for a little while, then I'll pass it on to him. But yeah, date nights. Recently, we've been doing a few date nights. We did Nobu probably like a week ago. And then
Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody.
nice views.
Nice view. Even though it was cloudy.
Nice vibe.
Yeah, it was a nice vibe. The food was good. I wasn't full.
So where is it for the people who
West Loop.
Yeah, West Loop.
So that's downtown Chicago. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's like a rooftop, like a.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So yeah, then we got another date night that I'm planning on this Wednesday. So yeah, just frequent dating that keeps the relationship dope, the marriage dope. Us getting through the difficult times, the way we get through it, like the way we support each other. That's very important. So yeah, just overcoming challenges together, the way that we do it and go about it.
I got some questions.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
And then also how we kind of forgive each other, walking in forgiveness as well. So yeah,
No,
a lot goes into having a dope marriage. So, but I'll
sure.
pass it on to him.
no emphasis on the kind of forgiving, but that's a funny topic. But I would mirror everything she said.
Okay.
I would especially mirror the point where how we get through stuff is if we have disagreements, because both my wife and I are like, I'm an alpha male and she's an alpha female. So a lot of times we can butt heads. But the process of us getting back like on one accord is actually dope, because we don't stay mad at each other long. And if we do, we just look at each other and then we'll like smirk and then we'll just hug and then it's like rekindled. And as far as what she said with the dating, I think we have like this slight competition with each other, like to see who can outdo the other person with the date night. Like I'll plan dates for like, you know, a couple of weeks and then she'll come right back and take me somewhere or plan something. And then now it's like, all right, bet, okay, you did Noble and you did this. All right, I got to figure out what I'm finna do. I'm finna come with the thunder.
It's a competition.
It's a competition, but it's fun. And it's like mandatory because, you know, you guys may know because you have children. Sometimes when you do have kids and you're married, it's hard to focus on the one person that you verbally committed to. I didn't verbally commit myself to my kids. That's just mandatory. But I said an oath in front of like 20, 30 people that I plan to love, honor, and protect this woman for the rest of my life. So everything she said, but the emphasis on how we get through stuff is what I would say is dope. Yeah.
I mean, that was a fire intro. Like, I don't even know. Like, that was strong. Like, so I can. Okay, so when you say, "Wow," let's go here. We're gonna take this a couple different ways.
Yeah.
Let's touch on that though. Getting through those times where it's difficult. Did you guys like? And anybody can answer this. Did you set up like? How did you get to the point where you can get through those difficult times?
I think it started with prayer. That was the initial thing in the marriage. Well, the relationship.
Premarital counseling.
Yeah, premarital counseling helped a lot.
Was that forced upon you, or y'all both had an
No,
agreement?
that was agreement.
No, we agreed to that.
And we were recommended that people suggested that we do that as well before we got married.
Both of you walking like a spiritual walk before you met each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember she said, well, we talked about this off camera. She was fasting when I first met her. And I was on my journey of getting back in the church the way I should have been.
So it was perfect timing.
It was perfect timing because the affirmation came from my grandmother. So 2018, this is just a little bit off subject, but it flows into why I decided to incorporate God more. In 2018, my grandmother told me she was diagnosed with diabetes.
Okay.
And my daughter was just turned 3. So what she told me was, get that baby in church. And so I started going to church to get my daughter in church. And then she started to love going to church. And then eventually I got into men's discipleship where that transitioned my life. And then meeting her and then finding out the foundation of her family, a praying family, a loving family. And it's like all these things that I prayed about to have in a wife. Now they're coming to fruition. I got my daughter in church that's crazy about going to church. I'm going to church. My wife wants to go to church. We want to establish this relationship with God and keep him in the center, because we realize individually we keep him in the center, everything goes much better. So it's only right that when we are married, we have to keep him in the center.
So do you think, Miss Dixon, do you think if he wasn't like in that walk of faith, on that journey, do you think you would have still took him seriously?
No.
It
You can't lead me if you don't have a relationship with God. Like, it's no way that you can lead me.
Say that again.
You cannot lead me if you don't have a relationship with God. Like, we have to have a vision for the marriage. I need my husband to have a vision for our marriage. Like, where are we going? Like, yeah, I'm going to need you to lead, and you have to have guidance from God. So, yeah.
Was that ingrained in you from a youngin', or did you like adapt that as an adult?
Definitely it started at a young age because it was how I was raised. I was raised in a church, and I come from a praying family. But I mean, as I got older, I went through my own experiences, and I had to develop a relationship with God on my own without, my family. But yeah.
So, what y'all think then? Since we right here, let's talk about it.
Come on, somebody.
What y'all think about those couples who have opposite faith, like opposite faith of walk, or one person is spiritual, they believe in God, they might be, a Christian, whatever they are, right?
Yeah.
But then the other person doesn't believe. You know,
that's unequally yoked. Then?
Yeah. Do you think
Are they married or are they not married?
They actually got. I'm saying married people.
Married people.
Like, do you think that they? Do you think? What do you think about that? That it can last? Because y'all saying, like you said, like, yo, how can it if like you don't?
Right. You're not on the same page, so
Right.
I mean, I wish them well, couples that are going through that, because I've heard about that, but
I always thought it was interesting for one person to be like, even like if you just go from like a Muslim and you,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, Christianity, or you this and you that, and it's like, wow, how y'all making that work?
yeah,
You know?
It
I
is
heard
curious.
leading to divorce for a few people, so I don't know how that works for them.
Yeah. I mean, I just know, I'll tell you this from over the course of my life specifically, and understanding that there are different, you know, people that have difference of opinions or when it comes to their faith. If I am the leader, if I'm supposed to be the leader, and I'm not stable in my walk, then for me in the relationships that I have, it's not gonna work. So at that particular point, I had to go through that transition of my grandmother telling me those things. And then mind you, I reached out to her beforehand. She just didn't go for the bait. She was like,
Let's talk about that. So like y'all connected. I know we talked about this prior, but y'all reconnected in 2018. But you reached out to her when?
that was crazy. September 20th of 2012.
So 6 years later is when y'all reconnected.
Yep, 6 years later is when we reconnected. And I think it's so amazing that 7 years from that exact date, a day off, we got married. So it gave, like, 7 is the number of completion.
Yep.
So it took enough, you know, trial and tribulation to go through on my side and her side to see what was out there, what worked, what didn't work. And now we come together. And, but like I said, in 2017, I took a little shot in the DM. She you know, dodged it. I'm like, oh, dang, okay, how do I regroup and get what I'm trying to get, which is a relationship with her. So
I got a question on that too, but I got to throw a little shout out real quick because you just threw me an alley-oop.
Come on.
To the sponsor of the podcast. They are 7 Love clothing brand, one of the hottest clothing brands in the city of Chicago. And it's called 7 Love because of that. Like,
that's what's up.
Unity, family. And so that's why I partnered with them with the podcast.
Okay.
Because of the Love Conquers podcast, and they represent love. And so you said 7 was the number of completion. So, but going back to what you just said, I think it's pretty cool. You actually met your wife through social media.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. Like, this is just me, so y'all gonna have to educate me, and I need both of y'all to talk about this. I've been with my wife so long, you know what I mean, since 18, and I'm 30. Like, yeah, we went through our ups and downs, obviously. I was a boy, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I, became a man, but I never reached out to nobody through the DMs. Like, I never reached. So I'm like, man, that really don't work. Even though I know people who do it, and I'm like, they make songs on it.
Yeah.
So I feel like an old man when I talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like, man, it's not even in my generation, but it's obviously in my generation.
Right.
Like, so what made you, like, you know what I mean, take them seriously through the DM?
Yeah,
I always thought it was a joke.
I would never talk to nobody I meet online or off Facebook. You know, I always said that because I didn't believe in it.
And that's
either.
how I felt. I'm like, man, people not gonna take people seriously.
When he had sent the message in 2012, I don't even think I looked at it.
It still says delivery.
I never responded to dudes in the DM. I'm like, I'm not talking to you, weirdo. Like,
Right.
I'm not talking to you.
Jesus.
But at that moment, it was like, it just became more prevalent for people to reach out in DM. So I'm like, okay, let me kind of get with the new wave, I guess. Like,
Okay. So for you was thinking like, yo, let me adapt to the world.
Let
like,
me
what's
try
going on.
something different. So he's probably like the only person that I talk to in the DMs. Yeah.
That's crazy. So let's
Let's
make this make sense.
I did not know it all.
Come on.
Yeah.
So you reached out in the DM 2012.
2012, yep.
No response.
Nothing.
You double back down 2018.
2017.
2017.
Really. It was like the end of 2017. It was on Snapchat. She had went to a club.
Wait, bro, were you stalking this girl?
Kinda.
That's so authentic.
Kinda. It
Just
is.
like following her, just
Yeah, you want to say something cool, I'm gonna respond. You throw it out there, I'm gonna respond.
yeah.
But she said something. She said something about a club experience. She said, "I'm never going to clubs. They're trash." I took, went for the, the alley-oop, like, "Hey, yeah, I don't go to clubs. I go to lounges." And she like, "Okay," like, "All right." So I'm like, "All right, that didn't work." So then, what was it, about 3 months later, 2018 rolls around. Yeah, it was like in February of 2018. She posts like 4 books that she was reading. One was Joyce Meyer. There was 2 other books I can't remember, but the one that stood out was The Alchemist. I had a cousin at the time that gave me a book, that gave me The Alchemist book to read. And I didn't get past page 60, but when she posted that, that was when I was like, all right, now I know how to approach you. Hey, what did you think of the book? So now she doesn't know what my intentions are, which is to, okay, I'm trying to get to know you. But you think I want to talk about this book.
Is that a slick approach?
It is.
Do you think that's...
Very slick.
Let me ask you this. But it worked, right?
Come on.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. So,
It
do
did.
you think... I'm gonna go to you, Ms. Dixon. Do you think that, like, when people are hopping in the DMs, because we're going to try to help some folk real quick, that they should come with that approach of finding something that they like in common? Or that something, like, what do you think is the best way to approach somebody in the DMs?
The best way?
Yeah, because you are a woman like, man, I'm good on that. But he did something
Yeah.
that caught your
He tried
attention.
to come at me intellectually, I guess. So, I mean, the best way is the way that he did it. Because if, like I said, if it was somebody else,
Yeah.
I would ignore people. I'd be like, oh, okay. Like the first time he was like, I go to lounges. I don't even remember that. I don't even remember him saying that. I'm like, okay. I
So
probably
if I
was
was
like,
single
okay.
right now, if I was single right now and I had to approach somebody in a DM, I would find something that they like, comment on that. Like,
Study them first.
Pay attention to the pictures and to the posts.
Yeah.
Pay attention for sure.
Because that was when I did that, I had already studied her page before she started fasting. So when she fasted, she would like deactivate her page so you can't see anything. So I would go through, and people can call it stalking, but I call it studying. So I would go through.
Oh, hold on.
Okay. Okay.
Let's go back.
We back there.
We back.
Woo woo.
What did you see in her in 2012 that you, because something hit you, said I gotta have her, but you never got a chance to like talk to her or anything. Like, what made you say like,
Yeah, be
I need to
honest.
follow this girl?
In 2012, I seen her on the bus, and she was the finest thing I had seen at NIU.
Oh, okay. So you seen her in person.
I seen her in person.
Okay.
She had her hair curled. She had on a black leather jacket.
Never forget it.
No. And like I said, off camera, she lived in the complex right next door to me. So I would see her occasionally walk back and forth. And I'm like,
You didn't know that until 2019, though. That
No,
we lived next door.
no,
to each
I
other.
didn't know that. I thought she lived in the, so my apartment was right here. I would see her. Sometimes we would cut through this building to get to the bus stop. I thought she lived over there. So I would still see her walking, but I'd be like, damn.
So did you ever try to speak to her in person?
Never. I didn't have that confidence that. No. 2012, what? I was 20, turning 21.
Yeah.
I didn't have that confidence.
Really?
No. I was like 20. Yeah, I was 20. I did not have confidence like that. And mind you, I just came to NIU. I didn't know anybody. And when
So you was kind of trying to fill out yourself.
I was filling out everybody, I was filling out myself. Yeah, I was trying to grow into a man. Because, like at that age, 18 to 21, we still boys. So, but we still trying to figure out who we are and where we fit in into this new world, which is college. You on your own. You got a roommate. Mind you, I was with my best friend.
What year did you start like feeling yourself like, yo, I can do this? Like,
I want to say the beginning of 2013.
okay.
Because that's when people started to know who I was. See, my old roommate, who's still my best friend to this day, he had pledged Alpha. So people knew who he was, and they knew me by association.
Gotcha.
So when people started to know me and see me around and see what I was doing, and they knew that I was going to play something different, they started to realize like, oh, he's his own man. Because they assume that he's an alpha we're best friends. I'm supposed to pledge alpha. And it's like, nah, we are two different men, and we have our own paths.
And by that time, y'all never connected, though?
No, and I threw this big stupid party, and I should have invited her.
And you didn't.
I did not, because I didn't realize that she lived next door, but she did.
Yeah.
Oh, so you could have went right next
I
door.
could have went right. That could have been my, my.
But you never saw her that much after that.
Because I think, when did you graduate?
In 2012, I graduated.
Right, so she was graduating on her way out.
Oh, and that's kind of like your transition.
So I was going through my transition of becoming that, and then of course my confidence intensified when I became Greek, because people, you know how that goes.
Right.
But over the course of time, like I said, it took 7 years from the time I reached out to really be who I was already was in 2019.
Man, I can relate to that so hard, bro. I'm serious because when you say that, I'm thinking about how I met my wife. And new world, new college, freshman year, and my rest in peace to a good friend of mine. He was always talking to girls, and he was just always out there. I was more reserved, and he just was always pushing me. Like, yo, go talk to her. And so I got the chance. You didn't get the chance because she left.
Yeah.
But so after that, I know you said you saw it. You said, man, she the finest thing you ever saw. That just made you keep yo, I will talk to her. Did you know in the back of your head yo, I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna get her as my wife. Or that really wasn't your intention?
No, at that time, no. It was just when I seen her, I was just like, man, she's gorgeous. Because mind you, I was in a relationship and she was in a relationship. So I really didn't even see her like that on social media. So social media wasn't even called social media back then.
Right.
It was just called, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, or whatever.
Instagram.
Yeah, or Instagram. It really wasn't like the trifecta of all three. So it's just like, oh, you see her? Oh, okay. Oh, that's the girl I remember from the bus. Okay, cool. I can't be on that because I was in a relationship already. And then she was in a relationship as well, so you can't be on that. But the moment that I was no longer in a relationship and I seen myself ready to move forward, I said,
let me keep track of her.
And she knows this story. I had, it's crazy to say, but it's the truth. When I got to this point, I said I had a top 10 of women that I was like, I'm gonna talk to. She was number one. I was like, if number one don't work, I kid you not.
Stop
I told her that, and she was like, what? I'm like, hey, I was single, and I was just like, if I'm going to be with someone, I want to make sure that you, number one, are a good role model for my daughter, because my daughter was 3 when 3. You have to have a good head on your shoulders. You have to be embedded in faith, and you have to be wifey material. And so I seen my wife.
Let's look out in the pictures though that you were looking
Oh,
at.
her feet.
Yeah. That's what
I seen them
really
feet.
made
Man,
you reach out.
I seen them feet. I said I gotta reach out.
Oh man. So
what made zooming in on pictures looking at my feet.
When did you know he was gonna be the one? Because it seemed like he knew as soon as he saw you. He just was like, yo, when I get the opportunity. When did you know yo, this guy?
Yeah, that took some time for me to know that he was the one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it took a lot of confirmations for me. I would always speak about him to my coworkers and then even my grandmother as well. But whenever I spoke about him and I would tell them how things were going, they would tell me oh, he's the one. Then one time me and my grandmother was having a conversation. She was like, he's the one. I'm like, really? But I needed multiple confirmations before I knew that he was the one. Because
I didn't fit the description.
Yeah, but you in relationships prior and you thinking that it's going to work out and it doesn't work out. So I just didn't know if he was the one or not. Is he serious? I didn't know. Yeah, I was waiting for him to, show me that it was real.
What was his final test to show you?
He talked about marriage, for sure. That's when I knew that he was for real.
Because he got serious.
Yeah.
Well, she grilled me. I have to throw that out there. When we first started talking, she asked me a very profound question. She had asked me, this was 2018, mind you. Okay, so keep track of that. she had asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I'll never forget my answer. I'll never forget it unless something happens with my brain. But I said, I see myself married, multiple children, a better relationship with God, better job, and on the verge of getting a house. We're 4 years here. I have a better job. My relationship with God is much better. I have another child. We're on the verge of getting our house, and my relationship with God is off the chain. So I think that it's safe to say back then, she had said earlier, you have to have a vision. The husband has to have a vision for the marriage, and that was my vision 4 years ago.
Yo, what's good, y'all? Look, we got to take a quick break, and we're going to get right back to the podcast. I just got to highlight our sponsor of the podcast, 7 Love Apparel Clothing Brand. One of the hottest clothing brands coming out of the Chicagoland area. They cater to men, women, and children. It's fashionable all year round, and they represent what the podcast represents: family, love, and unity. So go get you some 7 Love Apparel Clothing Brand right now. Go to 7loveapparel.com and type in Love Conquers 20, and you'll get 20% off because, you know, they're a sponsor of the podcast. So let's get right back to this episode. So, I mean, spiritually connected.
Mm-hmm.
You know, y'all still have date nights. But I'm interested in the process that when you got both of you agreed on it. You said when the times get hard, you have a process. And I'm so interested in that because I think this is where some folk can really get some help at. You know, it's a couple out there, you know, but I'm always trying to help couples, right? Because I'm thinking, like, I always say it, this is always my phrase, like, yo, if you're going to get in a relationship, if you're going to get in a marriage, let's do it right. And sometimes people don't know where to go or who to go. So I think with this answer, we can really help some people.
Okay.
What is the process? What does that mean when you say you have a process? Is it literally like, yo, we in something bad in our world, like our marriage or our life? Oh, we got to open up the process 1, 2, 3, 4, or is it something naturally that you do? How did you get to that process? You know what I mean? What does the process look like for you guys?
I wouldn't say it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, especially if when you mad, you mad.
Okay.
You don't know what you gonna say in the moment. Sometimes you may want to call your friends up because he will do that. He'll call his friends up and, you know, talk mess about me. Sometimes I'll call someone and talk about him. I mean, it just depends on what the argument is. But at the end of the day, we don't go to sleep mad at each other.
That's the process.
That's what's important. We do not go to sleep mad at each other. Sometimes we'll give each other space. He'll go out, smoke his cigar, have a drink or whatever. I'm upstairs with the baby, chilling, and then he'll come back and he'll be ready to talk. Because most of the time, it's him who does not want to talk.
Really? I can't see that.
What?
Yes.
Nah,
I'm ready to talk about it right then and there. But
because my frustration reaches like that.
Quick.
That's
how I am.
So it's just like,
oh, that's why you said that Scorpio thing.
Yeah. But it's like this for me. It's not necessarily quick temper. It's just that when you're passionate about something, and like I said, my wife and I are both alpha type people, so we butt heads a lot. And so it's when I'm passionate about a vision that I have, or okay, let me be. Shout out to Pastor Mike. Let me be humble, open, and transparent with you real quick.
Love conquers.
When I know that I am connected to the Lord at all times, and if I have something that comes from him and he tells me, share this with your wife, and she doesn't agree with it, I get frustrated. And so instead of me saying something out of frustration, yes, I'll go smoke a cigar, go get me a shot of Crown Royal, or I'll go walk around and I'll call one of my accountability partners. I have 2 friends of mine that are married that are my accountability partners. They'll tell me like, hey, this is where you were wrong. This is where you were correct. This is how you should approach it when you speak to your wife. And you speak with love. So I have to get my mind right. Because if I don't get my mind right, I'm liable to have diarrhea of the mouth. And we've reached that point where we've invested into having someone that helps us with our communication, because we communicate, men and women communicate differently, right? So I may say something, she hears something completely different. So I have to give her more context on what I'm meaning behind what I'm saying. And then she'll say something and I'll take it out of proportion, because my wife is very blunt. So it may come off like she just being rude. And I'm like, you know how you want to, but you like, all right, let me chill. Let me chill.
We got a segment doing a podcast where I say gym alert, gym alert, gym alert. Both of y'all said something that we got to touch on, and it's a gym, and I appreciate y'all saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the appreciation comes from a level of understanding that that's gonna help some folk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna help me.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that y'all said it out loud, that's gonna help you.
Mm-hmm.
And what you both of y'all said, look, the gym and that I got from that is don't go to sleep mad.
Yeah.
Like don't do it.
Your aunt said that, right?
And then you came back and doubled down and said, hey, and you can be open and vulnerable enough to have an accountability partner.
Yes, I believe in those.
Like, a lot of people don't like to talk to people about, what they're going through, in fear of being judged,
Mm-hmm.
in fear of getting misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that both of you agreed on, like, yo, like you said, he might go talk to his people, you might go talk to your people.
Yeah.
And then y'all come back and say, hey, we got a new perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's talk about this. All right, look, you know what? I was watching my show. Maybe you had your, cocktail. We got, like, that's a gym too.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to get some separation for
Walk
a second.
away and then
Yeah.
It's
come
okay
back.
to, like,
It's
whatever
okay.
chills you down. Like,
Yeah.
like, whatever calms your nerves, it's okay to go smoke the cigar, go on the job, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that. And that is a process.
Yeah.
I know you said it ain't 1, 2, 3, but
Yeah.
that sound like 1, 2, 3
But-
for me. It's like, yo, go talk to somebody. Yo, go chill for a second.
Well, I'll tell you this much. As far as like things within our marriage, like between us two, it's really no like process of 1, 2, 3. But I'll just be honest, and this can help others too. We're a blended family. Like I had a daughter before I was married. And so dealing with things that come with that is not easy. So in that regard, there is a process, because there was a time where I was going through a very difficult stage with me and my daughter's mother. And at that particular point, the process was get into prayer. I had to pray. My wife knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Together or separate, like praying.
We have
Oh,
before, yeah.
Oh, together.
But the process was you had to pray regardless.
I had to pray regardless, but I had to incorporate her in it because
Okay,
she
so-
could feel my frustration and she could feel like where I was coming
So
from.
did that start to help the situation?
It helped it tremendously.
Really?
And then it even led to, if you don't mind me telling the story about Dash,
What about him?
the first, when we went to the hospital the first night.
Oh, I don't mind.
So there was the process with our son. My wife told me she was pregnant in January 9th. Shout out to all the Sigmas out there. She told me that she was pregnant on January 9th. Probably about 2 weeks later, she came to me and said that she was bleeding. And we didn't know what was going on. We like, all right. So I called my mom. And this is the good thing, is like when you have a foundation of people that's embedded in faith, you got to know who to call. So I called my mama. And I don't normally call my mama like that. I call my dad, but I called my mom. I think the Holy Spirit just said, call your mother. I said, Mama, she's bleeding. What do I do? She said, take her to the hospital. She said, stop everything. She had just got done cooking. She said, take her to the hospital. So we go to the hospital. Mind you, I had just worked like a 12-hour shift delivering packages, so I'm tired. So we get there, and then after waiting for so long, the doctors come back, and they tell us that my wife has fibroids. And so with that could threaten to miscarriage. So now we've been trying to get pregnant for like a while.
Right.
So now that we are pregnant, you're telling me that she could possibly threaten a miscarriage because of fibroids? So she started crying, and the first thing I did was when they left, I prayed. I covered her, grabbed her, got her close, and I was like, Lord, I know you didn't get us together for us to not be fruitful and multiply. I need, Holy Spirit, I need my son to be here. Because I knew it was a boy. I just knew that.
Felt that.
Yeah. And I was like, I need him to be here. And after that, she may have had a few issues like with her pain, typical birth pain. But our son came, and he's, to me, he's like a miracle baby. Because for them to say that right then and there, and for her to bleed that early in the pregnancy, I was like, yeah, it was nothing but God that he's here. So when it comes to stuff like that, it's just immediate. Deshaun, you got to tap in, and then we go from there.
Wow, that's heavy, bro, and I appreciate you sharing that. Like,
Yeah.
At that moment, where were you with your faith level?
Oh, I was so scared.
Yeah.
I mean,
So when
I
you
started.
No, keep on.
No, I started really thinking hard when I was laying in the bed because I was just crying. But I'm like, I know God did not bring me to this point. We have been trying to get pregnant. And I'm like, I know He not gonna fail me like this. So I had to just keep reassuring myself, like, nah, everything is gonna be okay. I'm gonna carry this baby full term.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept trying to speak life into the situation over and over and over. And like he said, we prayed together in the hospital. But yeah, I definitely had to get my faith back because I was losing it.
That's so strong, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to like the beginning of this conversation, which was how strong y'all faith. Now I can see where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Like y'all started this conversation about like, yo, what makes our relationship dope is, I walk of faith with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it really showed up. And like, just a quick, it's not my story, it's another story that I heard. Because it's interesting, so many people, it's a lot of women, and we pray for those women out there and men who are going through this, but who can have kids.
Yeah.
Or they've been trying, and it hasn't been working. And it was funny that I heard a story. Because I'm thinking about when y'all say y'all faith level is strong, and how y'all keep coming back to it, I'm like, yeah, it's strong for real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a gem in itself. Like, yo, if you're going through rough times, maybe y'all need to check y'all faith meter.
Yeah.
Like, where are you at with your, where are you at with your connection?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I was listening to this guy, and he was saying that everybody thought he was crazy because he was trying to have he was trying to have a kid. He was trying to have a kid with his wife. They already had 2 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wanted a son. His daughter's 12 or something, and they older. He kept saying, I want a son. Everybody's like, bro, give it up. Like, your 2 daughters, they all 11 and 12. You ain't gonna have no, it's over with for you. She was not getting pregnant. This is his story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he got so deep in his faith, like where he kept telling everybody, but I hear God telling me something different.
Mm-hmm.
He said he created a room. He went so far, he created a room in his house for this baby boy.
Yeah.
And it just hit me because he ended up having a baby boy. But it just show you, like, and that's why I said, this conversation just got deep, and it's from a level of the next thing I'm about to say, humbleness, prayer, and respect for those people who are going through this right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something about going deep and just believing, deeply believing, rooted, like y'all believe, like, yo, no, this, like, both, and I don't know if y'all realize, both of y'all said it, God, you didn't bring me this far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, God, like, I know you got your boy. I know you got your
Yeah,
like,
I think we
you
had those
told us
individual
that.
conversations with him. Like, once, like, when I had a moment, like, because when I was driving, I could have moments to myself where I could talk to him. And I'm like, Lord, I know this ain't what, I know you want me to have more children. And then it's 2 things that's funny about the story with our son is that, number one, for our gender reveal, everybody in there that was on Team Girl, I was telling them, I said, I had heard from God that I'm gonna have my son. And so when we cut the cake and we found out it was blue, I was in there, I was like, I told you, my faith is unshaken. I told everybody that. But the second part of his story is that he's born in September. And it was ironic about it is that I officially asked my wife to be my girlfriend before we were married in September. And she was like, well, why September 21st? What's so significant about it? Well, if you realize it takes 9 months for a baby to be born, and it takes 21 days to you to break or start a new habit. So that's the reason why I asked, and we got married on that day. So for our son to be born in September, 9 months of birth, and 5 is a number of completion. His birthday is the 5th. So it just, for me, it's all symbolic of a spiritual level. Like, God has been talking in this relationship since we first started dating.
That's strong, bro, because, you know, for you to even, in your words, follow him because, you know, he was led by something bigger than himself. But it happened fast, though. And to me, it happened fast because it happened within a year. Like, y'all started dating a year in and then been together for 4, married for 3. So, like, I know you say he had to go through his test within that year. Yeah. But, like, that year went...
It did.
You know what I mean? Like, y'all was together a year and got married.
Yeah. So, I mean, and we've had this conversation. Now, ideally, for me and as a man, I've shared this with her. I said, I probably wouldn't have gotten married right then and there because I wasn't good yet. And so me not being good, I didn't want to invite you in. And now you really see my situation. But I had an epiphany earlier because I'm like, we probably going to talk about this. The fact that I decided to be selfless, because I could have been selfish and said, no, hey, look.
Let me work on me.
Let me work on me first. But I'm not playing. But I decided to be selfish. God worked it out in the end anyway.
I got to ask your wife something on that. What do you think about, it's based on what he said, but I got to ask you a specific question. I always tell people, and I never know if I'm wrong or right, but it's my belief. So I want to hear what you got to say because I hear a lot of guys say, like, bro, like, no, I got to wait till I get straight. Like, whatever that means for them. Financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever. And I'll be like, man, I met my wife when I was 18. Yeah. You know how much I messed up along the way? And she stayed with me through that journey. And I am who I am because she stayed with me through that journey. Do you think a man should get straight? Or do you think that, and obviously he said he wasn't straight, but do you feel like looking back, like, you know what, you would tell your son, like, you know, you gotta get straight first before you decide to marry somebody? Because I always tell people, like, yo, if you know that person the one, they gonna help you get straight.
Correct.
So you believe that?
I do agree with that. But I mean, get straight when it comes to what?
Like themselves. Like, a lot of people, like, want this image of themselves first. Like, just go through it. Oh, I want to be financially set. Yeah. I want to be physically fit. I want to be more spiritually inclined. I want to be this. Like, they be self. Like, I got to get this being right. Yeah. And then I'm going to invite somebody. But I'm like, yo, you ain't going to never be right.
Correct. And that's how I am. We just had this conversation like a few days ago. But, I mean, like you just said, you ain't going to never be right until the time happens. Like, did you want me to wait 10 years for you to supposedly get yourself together or be straight? But I understand where he's coming from when he says he wished he could have been financially in a better situation.
That was the only area.
But the thing is, we can work on that together because you're so stuck on, let's grow together. Let's be on this journey together. So that's what we can do together. We can, go in we can be financially stable together. We can grow financially stable together. But I definitely think that someone should be mentally and spiritually and emotionally mature before they get into marriage. For sure. Yeah. You have to be whole before you get into marriage. You should be whole before you get into a marriage. But finances, we can work on that.
And
sure.
and that's proof is in the pudding.
And that's what men, but men, that's how we
gotta have. I understand, but
you say that we can work on. But do you think a lot of women, like, and this coming from a woman perspective, do you think a lot of women like, yo, you gotta have that bag before you?
Oh, a lot of women are like that, but I wasn't like that. I was like that before, but then as I got older, I'm like, you don't know when you're going to have that together. You're probably not going to be financially stable until 40. So that means we can't get married until 40 or 50. Like, You just never know.
Don't let
honestly,
finances be
like
the
that,
only reason
yeah.
that you not are getting married. Because like I said, I'd already been through men's discipleship. That changed my life, like mentally, spiritually, physically. I was going to the gym. I was okay. I wasn't like what I'm doing now. But financially was the only
talk your talk.
Come on, somebody. 265. 265. But I think at that point I was working in faith to get to where I'm at.
Got you.
And so now that my wife and I are in a situation where, okay, we're growing together, we understand each other. Mm-hmm. It's better now. You know what I'm saying? Because at first you looking at your situation individually. And mind you, I'd already had my daughter, so I'm thinking like, okay, I gotta make sure she good, I gotta make sure I'm good, then I gotta make time for her. And I don't have it.
But time opens up though when you get with a person.
Time opens up.
I believe in that.
So, and that's why, I gotta shout out my dad. There was a time where I didn't have enough gas in my car to go see her. She was like, come see me. I'm like, I can't come see you. I don't have enough gas.
No, you told her the truth.
I told her the truth. I don't have enough gas. My dad said, man, come here. Come get this $15. I put $15 worth of gas. I was above the quarter, and I went to go see her. And I wanted her to know, like, the sacrifices that I made. Like, it was a time where I was eating literally regular Cheerios, not Honey Nut Cheerios, regular Cheerios, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because she seen me in my survival stage. She didn't see me in the Deshaun stage where he was, on top of his business, taking care of stuff. She seen me where I was trying to adapt to my situation. And I just didn't complain about it. I was just like, all right, I got to take the crookeds with the straights, and I'm going to get through this.
Well, what if, like, that's so, I can only come to you with this question. What advice would you give women to say, hey, if you see this, like, you saw something in him.
Yeah, the potential.
But you just knew he didn't have this right now.
Mm-hmm.
How long should a woman wait? Like, or not even that. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm set you up for that.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the conversation you would have with a woman who comes to you and say, hey, he got it. Mm-hmm. I feel it with him, but he don't got this financial piece. Mm-hmm. What would you tell him?
Just be patient.
How long, though?
How long?
Because it's important, right?
I mean, it's important, but if you really love that person, then you're going to wait however long it takes.
They have to try, though.
Yeah.
What did he show you that made you say, I know he gon'.
Yeah.
What did he show you?
I saw the potential. Like, he had a decent job, but I knew he could do better. Because based on his personality, he's a talker. Like, this man can get any job. Like, he really can.
So he wasn't,
interviews well.
Got it. So he wasn't just like, he was going through whatever he was going through, but he wasn't just also on the couch lounging around.
No, he wasn't a bum. He wasn't a
He was
lazy
trying to get
bum.
to it. So you say the eye test
I
gonna
saw the
tell.
potential in him. Yeah, I knew that he was gonna be great.
Because you saw the work ethic.
Yeah, I could see it in him. I still see it in him. Like, I mean, he's came so far. So,
got it.
Yeah, I saw the potential in him. Now, if you don't see the potential in that man, then you need to move on. But yeah, I saw it in him.
And not seeing that potential is like, yo, they not really getting up. They not motivated. They not working. They just.
I had
to get to it. I just, once again, I tapped in, because before I met her and before I had my transition with like tapping into the Lord, I was all about grinding. But then I got to a point where somebody got in my ear and said, less is more. When you do less, God does more. And so I got to that point where I started praying more and trusting more. And then that's when things started to change.
That's deep, bro. Like,
yeah.
I love this conversation. Let's go on a lighter note real quick because y'all said y'all be in competition. I like that. Yeah. So what does that mean though? Like, you broke it down. You said, hey, when you had planned date night, you try to double down with something better.
Coming with
like,
the thunder.
is that like something y'all do every month? Who normally wins?
Both.
I'm gonna say it's like a tie.
Yeah, cause like, what was it? It's really a tie. Like, I think one time I had closed the deal for work, and then I just got excited, and I just went to the store, and I was just like, babe, I bought you some Pandora charms. And she'll come back and like, hey, I got this for you. And then, hey, I'm taking you out here. I'm taking you there.
You say you need that competition in a relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah. To
Why?
keep it exciting.
Yeah, because it's exciting. Like, a lot of the stuff that I do, my wife wouldn't do. And so, like, a lot of stuff she does, I wouldn't do. So we try to invite each other into our worlds. Like, something so silly, like, when I want a new car, I would go to the dealership when it's closed and just go look at the cars. We did that, like, on some fun stuff one time. And she's like, what are we doing? Are we going to get arrested? Because you can't really, like, run around. I'm like, girl, no, we looking for the cars. So and it was a nice day outside. And it was just silly. Like, and I like being silly.
Right.
Like, clearly.
Yeah,
But
it's spontaneous.
yeah, spontaneous.
That's important in a marriage.
Yeah.
Just doing random stuff. So yeah.
So have you adapted to that, or are you like that?
No, I've adapted to that. Especially doing stuff like he just said. We just went to the Mercedes-Benz dealership. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and we just looking at cars. I would have never done that on my own. So yeah, that's me adapting to.
Or we'll go back. We'll go through. Eventually we want to live in Oak Park, and I used to deliver in Oak Park. And like the other day, I said I'm gonna just drive through Oak Park, just look at the houses and get that feel. Like one day we gonna be out here.
That's how I know we the same, bro. Cause we Scorpio, I do the same stuff.
Yeah,
like
manifestation.
Yeah, for sure. I believe in it,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's powerful. That like it's just a magnetic force.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but you guys going back and forth, I think that's a gem, you know.
Yeah.
But what if somebody, like, I didn't felt this way, brought something home to the wife? I'm thinking she gonna double. Do you think about like, yo, I bought the wife this, or do you think about like, yo, I didn't got him this whole fit. I know he gonna come and give me something, or is it just like, yo, I ain't thinking about it. I got him this. And that's it.
Not expecting anything in return.
Is that how y'all operate?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I told her, I was like, when I get into a position where, you know, I could be as giving as I want to be, because I used to just be simple, like give her flowers every month or twice a month. But then I said I want to get to a point where I can get you a gift every month or a gift, twice a month. And so when I got to that point, I was like, I'm just doing it. I don't expect nothing in return. You can literally give me some silk draws.
Yeah.
And I'm good.
So I would assume you guys heard of the love languages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know
We took the test.
In the beginning.
So are you guys gifts?
She the
Yeah,
gift.
that's me.
She loves the gifts.
Is it acts of service?
Acts of
Yeah.
service, quality time, gift giving.
Gifts.
And then are you
I'm physical touch first.
physical stuff first,
All
then
of
gifts?
yours were
I need her
tied. All of his was tied. It
Oh,
was-
Yeah,
okay.
it was like I had sevens for four of them, and then
gifts was the last one.
I don't know how to receive gifts. I'm not good at.
But y'all don't mind giving them though,
No.
No, I don't mind giving her gifts.
and you like when she give it to you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You like being catered to?
Of course, man.
Nice.
Rub these feet.
That's the physical touch part.
Come on.
Hey, this super dope. Like, this is a dope conversation. I just want to recap, man, because I just enjoy talking to y'all. So, the advice that you would give people, if you're going through something, check your spiritual meter.
Yeah.
Yes.
See where you are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not spiritual, like, if your partner is, maybe y'all need to talk about that. Maybe
That
y'all
needs
need
to
to,
establish,
y'all need to
Yeah.
probably sit down and talk about that. And I like it because y'all didn't come on here and push spirituality or religion.
Yeah, no.
You just said, hey, you understand that when your spiritual meter is off, and that's what I'm calling it, like, y'all gonna be off.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun, man. This is a comment against all my relationships that I done interviewed. Like, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy date nights. Like, matter of fact, I haven't heard this. You said be competitive. Y'all didn't just say, like, be competitive. I'm competing. They did that. I'm gonna do this and keep it spontaneous.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
super dope.
Like, even to the point where I got my credit card, and even though we have the same account, it's just like, yeah, I'm paying for this.
Yeah.
Now what? What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
What you finna do?
That make the person gotta elevate.
And you got to.
They
What you
gotta
gonna
show
do?
up.
It's,
Nice.
So it's fun stuff. And then put them phone down. Like, really enjoy, and then have those difficult conversations. I don't think we said that. We have difficult conversations. We hate it sometimes, but it's necessary.
You gotta have it.
Yeah, we got to.
Y'all sit in those moments. Sit in those moments.
Yeah, and it's got to marinate, because you got to, you gotta like feel it. Like, oh, okay, you see how we feel? We
I don't
feel
even know, man. Y'all on fire. We can talk for a whole nother
We
hour.
sure could.
Listen, so I also want to close out, with this, because this was super deep. The spiritual boy, we hit on that. Having fun, we touched on that. And then also the aspect of making sure that I'm about to lose my train of thought. I'm just thinking so much. Jesus. And then the last one was when the strategies you guys taught me today, which was, hey, during those rough times, it's okay to go talk to somebody. It's okay to go do that. Mm-hmm. And then knowing that the people you go talk to is your support system. Mm-hmm. Coming back to each other and giving each other space to go have your cocktail, smoke a cigar, and not no pressure on it. Yeah. And then sitting in those conversations when you do come back. Mm-hmm. Sit in that. Embrace that. Mm-hmm. This the person you with. You chose this person. Yeah. You chose this person.
I surely did.
You chose, you embrace that. And so I love that. I want to do this for all my podcast guests. It's for those times when you are going through rough moments. I know you're going to call your peoples. I know you're going to have your breaks. I want you to try to do this too. It's a game that I just called where you got to say, our unity created this. So I want you guys to look at each other, and when you say it, you're going to go back and forth. You're going to compete. And you're going to think about all the things that your unity created. So if you can, do me a favor, look at each other right now. And like I said, think about it. It's going to be tough if you ever have to sit in this. But after you come out of it, wow, we created a lot of stuff. Yeah. So go back and forth, and we're going to start with Mr. Dixon. Our unity created this, and then you have to say, our unity created this. I can throw one out. Our unity created this podcast. So whatever y'all unity created.
Oh, yeah.
Our unity created our child.
Keep it going. Now, whoever loses, once you start, whoever.
Oh my God, we gotta keep coming up.
Yeah, whoever loses, they gotta do something special for the next person. And I'm gonna call and figure out what y'all did.
Oh yeah.
Let's get it.
All right, our unity created.
Our unity created.
Our unity created spontaneity. I think that's the word.
Oh my God. Our unity created oh God, what word am I looking for? Our unity created purpose. I'll just say that. I'll throw that out there. Purpose, vision.
Our unity created. Oh man, I had the word.
He loses. Listen, you got to do something special for your wife. That's how we gonna do that one.
Bet.
And then
it's my turn anyway, cause she doing date night.
And then think about it, for when y'all go home and y'all embrace it. I can say 20 things that y'all wasn't thinking about right now, cause I know y'all on the spot. But y'all unity created y'all house. Y'all unity created y'all financial situation. Y'all unity connected y'all with God even more. Y'all unity created y'all marriage.
Yeah. Our bond that we have right now.
You see what I'm saying?
You already won.
So in the process of just thinking about dang, even if you just do it separately, man, what did our unity create? Okay. And so it just keep you in a space of gratitude.
Yes, I agree.
And so,
I love that.
Listen, this is the Love Conquers podcast. It's another dope couple on the Love Conquers podcast. Subscribe, show this podcast some love. They came out, they gave y'all everything, heart, passion, love. They brought y'all into their relationship. And so, look, I appreciate you. I thank you for watching, and be blessed.